What's up, everybody? Hello. It's Sunday morning here. Hope you guys had a good weekend. It's Thanksgiving here in Canada, so I know we're earlier than the States, but so I'm not going to be, I have a family dinner tonight, so that's why this is going to be done early. All right, so let's get into it. We got a few good setups for the week. This has already been posted in the Option Pro group. All right, here was posted yesterday morning. Okay, so there's plenty of time to take a look, guys. These are, I post every week. These are what I think to be the best setups for the upcoming week. So if we look at last week's, I think last week was pretty decent as well. Let's see last week. Too many posts in here from me. Last week was pretty good. So guys, give me 1 second. All right, it's right here. So let's just take a look because these are very helpful to set you up for the week. And the thing is, when I post them on Sunday, you need to be able to write them down or put them somewhere so that you don't kind of forget about them. So Tesla through 800, we did get this trade. Now it happened on Monday morning. And when this happened, the market was dumping really, really hard. So this was a bit of a tough trade, but we did get this. No, it's not that move. It was back here, I think. Where was the Tesla move? What did we not get it? I think, no, maybe we only got it on this day here. Okay, anyways, I thought we already had that one. Yeah, we did. I'm confused at this point. What? The high was 806 from the Monday. Where's that Monday day, though? This day, right here. Okay, I know that we broke out and moved through it. But it's just like not showing it for whatever reason on this time frame. That's strange. IV is strange sometimes, guys. Give me 1 second here. Okay, here was the move. Okay, so here was our move on Monday. I don't know why the hourly chart isn't showing it. We pushed up to a high of 807, if you see down here. So you got about a 7-point move. It wasn't the cleanest, reason being the market was dropping. Other than that, we had Moderna. This, at the time here was 340. We got this under 325, down to 300. Netflix, we got this move through 620. This was a really clean move. Okay, through 620, this pushed up really, really, really clean. SQ, this one dropped really nice through 235 as well. That's actually a trade I want to review here quickly. Peloton, we have not got that one yet. All right, so these are pretty helpful throughout the week, guys. This upcoming week, what I'm watching are these. Okay, so let's go through them very quickly. Affirm. So Affirm has been a beast, guys. Every day it seems like it's the strongest stock in the market, it seems. So now the reason is look at the volume here, guys. This is a weekly chart. The volume is incredible. Okay, so this thing is just coming into its recent, it IPO'd, I think, in mid last year. Here, IPO'd around 85, pushed up, hit a high of 146.9. Okay, so basically 147. So this week, last week we hit a high around 145. This week, I would like to see us maybe consolidate for a day or two into here and then make that move up. You guys know all-time high trades are my favorite, especially on a name like this that has so much firepower to it. There's so much attention. It's a stock that the options move well. That's a trade I want to take, right? So that'll be a big trade through 147. And the thing is, guys, it may not work, right? It may not work, but the risk to reward, the risk is sitting out. The risk here is sitting out on the sidelines and watching it go by. And as a trader, that's your risk. That's your opportunity cost. So your risk is not, okay, it doesn't work and you take a small stop loss. Your risk is just watching this go by and giving up that great opportunity that you don't get often. Moderna, this thing has been super, super, super weak, right? Every mini bounce, guys, we can see what's happened here, right? Since we broke, basically since we didn't break out here, but more so since this gave up, every bounce, right? We bounce, we drop, and we don't even really bounce. We just hold. Here, we drop, I guess we bounce a little bit, drop, hold. It's just every, you let it create a low, let it have its bounce day because they always are there. And then you get that next leg down. So I'm looking for this move down to 250. Guys, let me show you if you don't remember. Moderna was included into the S&P 500, and the stock was around 200 at that time. All right, so that was its breakout area, right? You can basically see right where the arrow is. 250, right? And that's when it got included in the S&P 500. And then that's when it completely took off and went doubled, right? So I believe that this can probably trade right back down to that 250. It's a good whole number. And yeah, overall looks pretty good to me. Okay, so this is what we'll be watching, is the break below the low here and try to get a nice momentum trade down. Facebook, right? This one, same thing, man. Trend is your friend. Okay. Eventually there will be a time to dip by this. I don't think you need to be early. I think that this looks really nice for another leg down. Okay, so let's see what happens here. All right, let's see what happens. It's been rejecting this 9 EMA the whole time it's been dropping every bounce. So yeah, it's good. Stay with the trend. Let's see what we get. Upstart, this one, you know, here's a good example of why I think people might look at a firm and be like, oh, you think it can go higher, but it's already gone up so much, right? Okay, noted. Okay, so the stock here was 100 and it pushed up to 192, right? From basically 120 up to 192. Huge move, almost a double. And then what did it do? It ran another, it, you know, doubled from there and it went up to 350, right? And yeah, you're going to get red days in here, guys. Red days are part of the uptrend, okay? It is what it is. But again, this reminds me a lot of what I expect to see from a firm. Okay, I'd love to see a firm do a move similar to this. Yes, it's up a lot, but once it breaks that all-time high, guys, all bets are off. Momentum takes over, options take over. People start taking call sweeps for way out of the money, and they push it and push it and push it and push it. All right, so Upstart, guys, this thing looks really good for another move up. All right, this had its huge move up, and quite simply, guys, just looks like a nice bull flag that's ready to break out for another move higher. Okay, so this is the daily chart. Ideally, the first thing we're going to want to look for is the break of this high here. That's got to be our pivot point. Okay, so this resistance has to at least hold this support. So we want to come up, maybe retest it, and then we can push higher through here. All right, obviously the big level will be this all-time high, but in terms of getting this trade really started, it kind of starts and ends with this. If we can't reclaim this, the trade idea is done. If we can reclaim this, now we got an idea and we can start to execute on that. FedEx. All right. So this one has been a bit of an ugly one, but looking for, again, this is where the trade starts over 227. Okay. You can see here, big rejection wicks here, big rejection here. We actually did not close above the 9 EMA here either. Okay. We got above it. We did not close above it. What we need is a close here above this. Okay, we need to close here, and then we can enter this trade. Our first target is really going to be this 235, and then we have a 15-point gap right here, guys. All right, these gaps tend to fill, right? There's a lot of traders who will look at that and trade specifically that gap, so it creates a lot of buying pressure. So just keep your alert set on this one. This may end up grinding lower and making another low. I don't really know. I doubt it will. The reason is its RSI is so low. And this thing has just been crushed to the point where, you know, if we go take a look at Amazon, Amazon did something very similar. It didn't fill its earnings gap right away. You see, it dropped hard here, sold off a little bit, and reclaimed the 9 EMA, and then it eventually pushed up hard. Okay, so we've seen that with FedEx as well. Hard drop. Okay, here's its little start to reverse, and then it's going to take its time to get right back up there, but I believe it will. And then now, guys, most important part of this whole webinar, okay, earnings season is about to begin. Okay, so what do we have? We start, as always, we start with the banks. Okay, so we've got JP Morgan leading off on Wednesday, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. Okay, so we have a lot of the big banks reporting, all right? So let's see what happens. Also worth noting, guys, TSM, Taiwan Semi, okay, they are responsible for, they're the world's largest semiconductor manufacturer. Okay, so what they say is going to be very important. So what happens with AMD and NVIDIA? Okay, so not necessarily let's trade TSM because they're not a big trading name, but let's look at how that might impact AMD and NVIDIA. All right, so maybe you shouldn't be in any swings these days, right? Whether it be in NVIDIA, AMD, or in any of the banks. Okay, just kind of sit back, let things unfold, and move on from there. All right, so on that note, I want to do two things, guys. I want to show you guys a recap of an earnings trade, and I want to show you guys a recap of what I think was my best trade of the week. This is something I want to start doing more often. It's just reiterating good behaviors and good trading that you can build on week after week. In my opinion, guys, as it's been very clear, we all have different trading strategies. All right. Riley has a different strategy than me, and I'm different than Z, and Z is different than, you know, Omar, and he's different than Crazy Ups. Like, we're all different. That doesn't mean someone's right and wrong. We always are like, oh, risky this, risky that. It's not risk, guys. At the end of the day, this best trading is trading that you can replicate day after day after day. If you're doing something that's completely luck, then that's bad trading. It's not, you shouldn't even do it at all, because even if you made money, you're going to lose it, right? Because however you get to a point, you need to be able to do it day after day after day after day after day after day. Okay. So if you're making money on an earnings trade, good for you. You're going to lose it on an earnings trade. So, you know, that's the most important thing, guys. Review your trades. You don't have to try to be like someone else. Figure out what your trading works and replicate that day after day after day. All right. So first, let's go look at earnings trades. All right. So first one I want to look at is going to be this FedEx. All right. Let's pull on a 3-minute chart. Give me a second. It's going to be a few days to scroll back. All right. But what we're looking for, guys, are these called gap and go trades. Okay. So what we first off we want to see from the earnings is the stock has to make a big move. Okay. And then what we start to do, guys, is we start to watch here in the you know, it's usually quite obvious to tell based if it's going to continue or if it's going to bounce on the after hours. Okay. So you can see here in the after hours, guys, you can see here in the after hours, we got this strong drop. Okay. Super strong drop. And you can just see it didn't even try to bounce. This is the end of after hours, and it ended at the lows. Coming into the next day, because again, we're not trading options yet. We haven't traded. Coming into the next day, we see a gap down. Okay. So this went from being a support here, guys, to now a resistance. We're not able to even get above it here. Okay. Technical analysis one-on-one here. Okay. We also we look for a whole number, hopefully a pre-market low or pre-market high. Pre-market low here in this case, because we want downside, 235, nice whole number, tested multiple times. Okay. And then basically right at the open, guys, we get that gap and go. Okay. So the gap down happened, and the momentum takes this from 235 basically straight down to 230. All right. So these are the type of trades, guys, that you want to try to capitalize on as soon as possible. That was a 2.5% drop basically instantly. All right. And then, yeah, chopped around for the rest of the day. Another one I want to highlight here, guys, is going to be NDB. This thing is dumped back pretty hard, actually. This might be a decent setup here. I remember talking about this more towards 500. Okay, I'm going to just set this up for now. Okay, perfect actually retest here if you see this. All right, but that looks decent. This does have the earnings gap basically right to here. Okay, so this was all earnings move, and we're going to go talk about that day and study that. Again, I think coming into earnings season, guys, this is where you have a lot of opportunity for what I call directional moves. There's no guessing on FedEx whether it's going to go up or down. It was quite obvious what way it was going to go. Why? Their earnings were bad. They missed. The stock was clearly dropping. It was trading below EMAs. It wasn't reclaiming any levels. There's no guesswork on, oh, I wonder if this is going to bounce. No, it's not. It's going to die, right? So here we go on MongoDB once this loads. Hello. There we go. All right, so here, guys, was our earnings. And again, here's going to be the opposite kind of scenario. Okay, earnings, huge move up. And you can see after hours, we didn't even try to pull back, right? We ended the after hours basically right up here, right near our highs roughly. Okay, and then we have our high here, right? Our, what level is this? We had our highs there around, I think it was 450, 460. Okay, you know, being generous too, making sure you're giving it plenty of space. All right, but you can see in the pre-market that this isn't even trying to sell off. Like there's nobody trying to sell this off, right? And then boom, we get our gap and go trade through 460, and this rocketed, I believe, to 500 almost right away, 495, 497, right? This is a 10% move right away. Guys, these are trades where you can make one trade uh, done at 940 and you could be done for the month, depending on how, much emphasis you give these trades. All right. And then basically what you want to do is just look for more and more and more trades here, right? Look for this next leg higher here. And then you get another 5-10 point scalp, right? So these are really good setups, guys. But the main trade you're looking for is that gap and go. All right. Gap and go. The biggest time for these is going to be through earnings. All right. Earnings create gap scenarios because of that release. So it's going to be very, very important. All right. And then last thing I want to show guys is just going to be an example of a good trade that I took this week that I'm very happy about. And I took this live on Voice. It was here on Monday. All right. So coming into the day, if you remember from the weekly watch list from last week, I showed at the beginning, SQ under 235 was the level I was watching. Okay, here we go. Oh, Monday open, huge drop below. Now, if you guys remember, I was on Voice and I was pretty heated about this. I was pretty upset. And guys, you'll see me get heated on Voice. It's not, don't think, oh, he's not keeping his emotions in check. No, I'm just very passionate about trading and everything. I treat it like a sport almost. Like whether if I win or, I'm always very passionate about it. I don't just sit there and whatever. Me personally, okay? So what happened here was we had a huge drop. And if you watch what happened, more drop. And guys, if you remember the adjustment I made, so the market started to turn basically end of August, early September. And an adjustment I made very quickly was, okay, hey, the downside, I remember I posted this in the group as well, in the pro option chat. I said, guys, we all are not very good at red days. Why? Well, because we don't get red days often. We get a red day a significant red day, maybe once every 2 weeks. And very rarely do we get multiple red days in a row, right? The market over time goes up and up and up. So that being said, I need to make adjustments, okay? So coming into a weak seasonal period of September, my adjustment was to play on the downside, the EMA bounce. Why? Because if I short something or take puts near the lows and the market loves to bounce, I'm going to get smoked, right? So I need to be very, very patient. So this was where I got frustrated, okay? Little green candle here, but not even close to our EMA here, not even close. And if that's going to be my stop loss here, I can't take that. I have no choice but to wait. And then boom. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And still very frustrated, very angry because 235 straight down to 228. Okay. Yes, you could have missed. Why didn't you take a 235 entry right here? There was a lot of stuff moving. It was Monday morning. It broke at 9:30 in 10 seconds. Right. And then within a minute, this was already down huge. Right. So here we go. Finally, and this is around 9:50. I waited 20 minutes, guys, of seeing this drop and drop and drop and drop and drop and drop. Finally got my EMA test here. Okay, so there we go. There's our relief rally. Okay, and then boom, we got the more lows, right? So this was one of my best trades of the week, guys. Why? Because I was able to, one, identify what I wanted. The biggest thing in trading that I think a lot of people screw up on is they don't know what they want. They just let the market tell them what to do, right? And then what do? They end up chasing. Oh, look, the stock keeps going up. Green candles, I need to buy. Boom, you're red, right? They pull back, you're stopped out, and then it's the poor me. Oh man, it always happens when I get in. No, it's because you have no idea what you want from the stock, right? What do I want from the stock breaking all-time highs? I want the stock to break with the bid above the all-time high. The bid is our buyers. I want to enter on that break. On the downside, what do I want? I want to see strong drops followed by EMA touches. That's my entry with a tight stop loss. All right. So I know exactly what I want, and that's where I get rewarded. So number one, that. Number two is just waiting so much for this, guys, because this was incredibly tough to see people make, everybody making money short, making money short, making money short, making money short. Where am I? I'm waiting. But you know what? If I, saying, oh, well, you could have got in right here and out right here. Yeah, that's great in hindsight. But the reality is, if you're going to let yourself chase this down here, you're going to let yourself chase this down here as well. And you're going to get crushed in this. So the discipline to not chase here or here or here on the downside, guys, the downside always will have bounces that'll just crush you, right? So this was a really good trade for me, guys. It wasn't my biggest profit of the week, But the fact that I waited so long knowing exactly what I want just tells me that, hey, I can, you know, replicate this trade and scale this trade coming up in the next, you know, for the rest of my career, right? I can do this trade every day. If we get downside every day, I can take this trade, you know, and I can, as my comfortableness grows on the red days, I can start trading that with 2 times as much, 3 times as much, and make 2 to 3 times as much, right? So that's the whole idea of trading, guys. Look through your trades, find out what you did really well, find out, is this something I can replicate or was it luck? Is this something that I can scale? And go from there. All right, guys, so that's it for the week. You know, one last thing I'll leave you with is going to be a little analysis of SPY. I'm bearish on SPY. Let me move this and I'll explain my analysis in a second here. I'm bearish on SPY and I will remain bearish until we reclaim this level. Okay, so again, technical analysis 101. When support is broken, it will turn to resistance. Support, support, support. Look at this, support, support. Well, guess what? Now this is going to act as a resistance. We got close to it here and we did not break above it. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I think like this is insane, guys, right? This huge move from 210 to 460 basically without any major pullbacks, right? Look at this, guys. These are natural. This will happen. This is a 20% drawdown, right? These pullbacks are going to happen, guys. And I think that basically at this point, guys, up here, the market is at 22% year to date. Okay, the annual return, I've been saying that, I've been harping on this since this point, basically. The annual return is 6 to 7%. So being up here at 22% is already double to triple what the average return should be. Okay, so anybody thinking we go back up and more is expecting an anomaly of a year, and the stats are just stacked against you. It makes no sense why you would try to predict an anomaly of a year rather than just expecting an average year, which it average does. Okay, so I think that I'm bearish. Now the thing is, guys, being short the market, you don't want to be bearish at the lows. Okay, I see a lot of people when the sentiment flips, they're bearish here, they're bearish here, they're bearish here. You do not want to be bearish the S&P 500 at the lows. Why? It will bounce. Look at the history, guys. Every time you get bearish here, guess what? The bears get super loud, right? Oh, here we go. We're gonna crash. We're gonna crash. It's not a crash, guys, but it doesn't. I don't think we're going to crash, but I also don't think we're going back to highs. Now, that being said, guys, you need to, when you're bearish the market, you need to use points like this as entry. Strong drop, point of entry, take your profit here. Not, oh, here we go, we're reversing, let me get in calls. Oh shit, here we go, let me get in puts. And you're chasing it around like a dog, right? You need to be able to, with the S&P 500, guys, it's pretty predictable. Okay, you need to be able to predict this. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I just follow the price action, I don't predict it. Right, correct. But you can kind of predict this thing, guys. It is a very predictable, you know, these dips get bought. This is not by chance, right? This rejection was a retest. That is not by chance. All right. So basically, guys, if we break and claim this, I think we're pretty bullish, and at least we'll hold. If we don't reclaim this, I think they're going to put pressure on this, and I think we'll see this drop. And then I think we'll probably see a drop into maybe like either it's going to be this support zone. That was horrible. I think it'll either be that support zone or the one lower. So I think below that, we either will drop into this 413 range, or we'll drop probably right down to, what is this, 405. All right, which would be from the peak, be it 8 all the way down to a 10. Okay, so 10% is fine. 8 is also fine. But again, guys, just please, please, please do not get too bearish on the deep red days. Do not get too bullish. And, you know, I see a lot, there's a few people who are always very, very bullish. In the next 10 years, yes, SPY will be higher. In the next 1 year, who knows? SPY could be back to 350, right? Are you prepared for that? Okay, are you willing to hold through that? Are you on margin? Are you on short dated calls? All right, so yes, long term, the market will go up, agree. But what is your position like, right? So make sure that you're comfortable holding if it takes another 10 years. I'm not saying it will, but be prepared for this to drop more, guys. And also, let's be prepared for something like this, guys. This was 20, where is it? That's the March drop. Here was Q4 of 2018, guys. So you can see basically October, right? And what did we do? Everyone always talks, there's a lot of bias in the market. Oh, December rally, Christmas rally, this, that, and the other, right? Look, this was December 25th right here, right? Merry Christmas. How you doing? Right? There's your Christmas present. But this was a pretty big drop, guys, from peak to from the high to the low. We dropped about 20%. What happened here? Interest rates. Powell, actually, I don't know if it was Powell. Whoever was in charge of the Fed at this point, guys, they were increasing interest rates. What did we see? Strong drops, and we just could never reclaim it. And that's more or less what I would not be shocked to see, guys, right? So be prepared to be in this position where we actually downtrend, for 3-4 months, not just a day, not just a week, but make sure your downside trading is on point, right? Because we might go through a phase like this where we have to trade 2, 3, 4, 5, a year of a downtrend, right? You don't want to be in a position or like here, right? You don't want to be in a position where you can't make money in these choppy markets, where all you can do is make money when we do this, right? Because eventually then your edge is gone and you're not going to last. All right. Anyways, guys, that's it. We have a few good stocks on watch this week. We know where we're at with SPY. We've reviewed our journals, right? I've reviewed my journals. I do that Saturday morning. You guys should review your journals as well. Make sure that you find your strength and you pour gasoline on your strength and you turn it up. Okay. Don't look at your weakness and try to, I'm not very good at this strategy. Let me change it. No, right? Find what you're good at, discard the rest, and start, really sizing up and making it count. All right, guys, I'll see you this week. Let's go. Let's crush it.